Project Workbench.
My name is Tad Atkinson, and I'm the production coordinator on Star Trek Renegades. A production coordinator is kind of a combination HR and accountant on most sets. On this set, I don't have to worry about the accounting duties quite so much. My main responsibility is to make sure we have enough PAs on set and to allocate them to the various departments, send them off on errands when something comes up, or otherwise utilize them as backs. I work very closely as a production coordinator with both the line producer and with the first AD. And so I'm kind of, there's two sides to every production. There's the business side and there's the creative side. I'm more on the business end of the office than the creative end. A PA is your basic grunt. They're or a gopher for those that know that term. They are your general labor that get thrown around to do whatever grunt work needs to be done. The line producer is the on-set money man. He's the one who makes sure that expenditures are being done wisely, that he's primarily tasked to make sure that on any given day we don't go over budget. He works very closely with the first AD because it's the first AD's job, the assistant director, to make sure that we don't spend too much time on any one shot.
Tad, what confuses me is with all of that said, you are known for a certain talent on set that doesn't involve any of the things you discuss. Can you give me a little insight into what your role is? I often find you right over by that door. Can you tell me what that's all about?
Actually, I don't have enough PAs. I will do the work, and that's usually given to a PA. This is called lockdown. What happens is when they're rolling inside an area like there, they need that door shut. You just can't have people coming in, coming out whenever they want to. So it's the lockdown person's job to be on a walkie and he not only call the rolls as he hears them being translated so that if there's anybody being really noisy out here, they don't disrupt sound, but also to make sure that if anybody comes in with the intent to enter the thing, to hold them at the door. And I've been teasing them because I'm also an actor and I do impersonations. And I've been teasing them that when I'm doing that, they need to give me a long flowing beard and a big pointy hat because when they're rolling, I'm Gandalf the Grey and it's my job to say, "You shall not pass."
Hey, John.
You shall not pass.
Look, Burt Reynolds.
You still shall not pass.
Okay, so run through the types of things you would say.
So I would say, like, rolling, rolling, rolling. Or when I hear them say cut, so I know people know to resume their work. Cut! Cut! Every now and then I will relay something like the picture's up, which means the camera's just been turned on. Usually I try not to say anything until I actually hear them call rolling inside because that means they are about to call the action. And at that point, nobody can go. Every now and then I will give people warning because what you'll sometimes hear is they're not going to cut. They're basically restarting it because somebody just had a little flub, otherwise it was great, and they just want to go back to where the flub happened. So I'll hear still rolling, in which case I will relay that out there. Still rolling. The reason why it's so important to keep the noise down is that the boom mics are very sensitive. I was working on a set once. We had about 500 extras. We were working outdoors up in the Big Sky Ranch. And I mean, some of these boom poles are massive. They've got 80-foot poles. And they must be counterbalanced for these guys because they don't have arms like gorillas. And I noticed one day that, the boom op was just kind of rotating like a little satellite dish trying to find a signal from that in between takes. And so we'd become friendly. He motions me over. He puts his headset on my head, and he just starts rotating his pole. I was picking up conversations as if we're sitting here talking at this volume, 200, 300 feet away. Those things can easily pick up noise a half a block to a block away. So if the walls are not absolutely soundproof, which these are not, you've got to be careful because you can't have, even if you can't make out details, you can't have following up the sound of people trying to run dialogue. So it is critically important because those mics are very, very sensitive. Okay, if you need to find me, my Facebook page is simply Tad Atkinson. And there's also a public page of Tad Atkinson. My website is www.tadatkinson.com. And you can also find me on IMDb.